Number 10. The Pit of Sacrifice. This is the part where the jungle starts whispering at you. Welcome to Actun Tunichil Muknal, a name that sounds like a curse, and honestly, it might be. This cave in Belize isn't just spooky, it's a full-on Maya underworld access point, complete with skeletal remains and sacrificial altars. To even get to the cave, you have to wade through rivers and squeeze through gaps that feel like nature's way of saying, go home. But the real fun starts inside. The cave winds deep underground, where the Maya believed the gods of death and fertility hung out. That alone should be your red flag. Archaeologists have found at least 14 human skeletons in there, many of them believed to be sacrificial victims. The most famous is the Crystal Maiden, a teenage girl whose bones have calcified over time, giving her a sparkly, glittering finish. Pretty, and also, dead. Some of the remains show signs of blunt force trauma, likely caused by ritual execution. Others were placed near broken pottery offerings, carefully arranged like morbid little still lifes. So yeah, it's beautiful, mysterious, and horrifying. Like if Indiana Jones and a horror movie had a cave baby. Still want to book that jungle hike? Number 9. The Cannibal Cave. Imagine crawling into a cave and finding out your ancestors were not picky eaters. Gough's Cave in Somerset, England, looks like your typical Ice Age hangout, but then archaeologists noticed something weird. Human bones, chewed, and not by wolves. Yep, somebody was snacking on someone. They found skulls turned into drinking cups, actually modified into bowls. You don't just accidentally do that. Tibias were cracked open for marrow, finger bones stripped of flesh with creepy precision. This wasn't some desperation move during a famine. This looked ritualistic, dating back around 15,000 years. These bones belonged to the Magdalenian people, Ice Age hunters who apparently didn't let anything go to waste. Whether it was a funerary rite or the world's grimmest dinner party, we'll never fully know. Scientists dubbed it nutritional cannibalism, which is adorable in a psychotic way. Oh no, this wasn't murder. It was efficient. Basically, if you ever time travel to Paleolithic Britain, don't bring snacks. You are the snacks. Number 8. Hell's Trapdoor. Welcome to Romania's Movile Cave, a place so sealed off from the outside world, it didn't even know the Ice Age happened. This cave was discovered in 1986 when workers were scouting for a power plant site. Drilling into the ground, they accidentally cracked open a chamber that hadn't seen daylight in 5.5 million years. You know what else hadn't seen daylight? The terrifying lifeforms inside. It's hot, it's humid, and the air is basically poison, loaded with hydrogen sulfide and almost no oxygen. But somehow, life thrived. Spiders, scorpions, leeches, all blind, pale, and horrifyingly adapted to this sulfurous hellhole. And the bones? Oh yeah. In deeper chambers, researchers found remains of animals that got in and didn't get out, including rodents, reptiles, and even larger mammals. Imagine being an ancient wolf, sniffing your way into a warm cave and realizing, too late, that you've entered Satan's terrarium. Movile Cave remains sealed off to the public. Only a few scientists are allowed in, and even they need rebreathers and serious training. Moral of the story? If the air makes your lungs burn and the walls move, leave. Number 7. The Bone Mines of Teomim. Now we're heading to the West Bank, where archaeologists were expecting to find some Roman-era wine jugs and maybe a few lamps. Instead, they found a bone pit, and a spooky one at that. Teomim Cave is just 15 miles from Jerusalem, nestled in the limestone hills. It's been known forever, but when researchers went digging in the back chambers, they started uncovering a stash of skulls, mostly infants, and ritual artifacts, including iron daggers, oil lamps, and carved altars shoved into impossibly narrow crevices. What's creepier, some of the bones appear to have been reburied, not just left to rot, they were moved intentionally, possibly centuries after death. Experts now believe this wasn't just a burial site. It may have been used for necromancy, as in communicating with the dead, which raises some fun questions like, why would you crawl into a pitch-black cave carrying a dagger and a baby skull unless you really wanted to talk to something on the other side? The answer, of course, is you wouldn't, unless you were out of your mind or incredibly serious about your demon Zoom call. Either way, Teomim Cave is now officially on the shortlist for places you don't visit without holy water and a therapist. Number 6. The Screaming Cave. This one sounds fake, but it's not. Let's head to Sardinia, where the locals whisper about Domus de Janas, the House of the Fairies. Sounds whimsical, right? Until you realize this fairy house is filled with hundreds of human remains and carved into solid rock by people who had way too much time and not enough sunlight. These caves date back over 5,000 years and were originally used as tombs by the Osore culture. But here's the wild part. They weren't just graves. They were spiritual liminal zones. The Sardinians believed the dead didn't just lie still. They hung around. Inside the cave walls are bizarre carvings, spirals, bullhorns, and weird, abstract human faces. Archaeologists also found traces of red ochre, prehistoric paint, smeared all over the walls, and bones, like a low-budget horror movie set. Now, why Screaming Cave? Because of the acoustics. The domed, narrow chambers amplify even the smallest sound. So if someone let out a sob, a prayer, or, say, a terrified shriek during a ritual, that sound would bounce around forever. There's evidence the caves were reused for generations, meaning people were bringing their dead into a cave that already had the bones of their other dead. That's not a burial tradition. That's a haunted family reunion. To this day, some locals refuse to go near the caves, which honestly seems wise. Number 5. The Bat Cave of Death. Buckle up, Batman, because this one's not your cave. We're flying to the Philippines, where the Callao cave looks like a dramatic limestone cathedral. It's 7 chambers deep, has skylights and columns, and if you squint, it almost looks like a church. Peaceful, right? Wrong. In 2007, archaeologists digging inside found something no one expected, a previously unknown human species. Say hello to Homo luzonensis, your tiny, possibly tree-climbing cousin who lived on Luzon Island around 67,000 years ago. What they found were toe bones, finger bones, and a few teeth, small, weirdly shaped, and unlike any other hominin. Oh, and they were buried deep inside the cave, alongside bat droppings and bones from prehistoric animals. No one knows how these ancient humans got to the island in the first place. The ocean crossing would have been brutal, so either they were amazing seafarers or really lost. But here's the kicker. It wasn't a one-time find. More bones were discovered in multiple layers, suggesting this wasn't a freak accident. These people lived and died in this cave, and we still don't know if something made them vanish, or if they just slowly disappeared into extinction, surrounded by bats and silence. The Callao Cave is still an active tourist spot, so go ahead. Pose for photos. Just try not to think about the extinct species under your feet. Number 4. The Demon Cave of Japan. This one feels like it was designed to be cursed. Deep in the mountains of Honshu lies Mount Osore, Fear Mountain. Already a great name. It's a volcanic wasteland of sulfur vents and ash plains, with one very special feature, a cave that locals call Jigoku Gama, the Hell Pot. Charming. According to legend, this is a portal to the underworld. You don't go here to hike, you go here to talk to the dead, or leave offerings, or get haunted. The cave itself is small and hot, surrounded by toxic fumes and eerie silence. Inside, archaeologists and monks alike have found remains, human skulls, burnt bones, and ash layers indicating deliberate ritual fires. Basically, someone was using this place to send messages to the afterlife and maybe roast a soul or two. Every year, blind mediums called Itako come here to channel spirits for grieving families. That's right, blind women enter a death cave to speak for the dead. It's not a Netflix series, but it should be. No one's entirely sure how long the cave has been used, but it likely dates back to ancient Shinto practices, blending spiritualism with just enough danger to keep tourists respectful. Moral of the story: if the mountain is named Fear and the cave is nicknamed Hellpot, don't go in expecting a spa day. Number 3. The cave that eats people. Ah yes, a classic. The cave you walk into and don't walk out of. Welcome to the aptly feared Cueva del Diablo, the Devil's Cave, in central Mexico. Now, the name alone should tip you off. Locals have told stories about this place for generations. Glowing lights, strange noises, and the occasional missing person. You know, normal cave stuff. But the real horror story starts when archaeologists went in and started poking around. They found not just scattered bones, but arranged ones. Entire skeletons placed in unsettling positions. Some with broken limbs, others holding primitive tools. One body had been posed with its arms out, like it was reaching for something. Worse, some of the bones had scorch marks. Not just, oops, I fell into a campfire burns. No, these looked intentional, like someone had set fire to the remains after they were already dead, or during some kind of dark ritual. Oh, and did I mention the cave has areas where the oxygen just disappears? Explorers have passed out, equipment dies, compasses spin. It's like the cave itself is daring you to come in and not leave. Scientists suggest this was once a sacred space for pre-Hispanic rituals, maybe even sacrifices. But honestly, once you reach the part of the cave where your flashlight flickers and your breathing gets weird, does it really matter why they were there? The bones are still there. So is the heat and the silence. Good luck. Number 2, the Painted Tomb Cave. Sometimes the creepiest caves are the ones that look beautiful at first glance. That's how they get you. Take Bachokiro Cave in Bulgaria, a sweeping dramatic cavern filled with evidence of early human occupation going back 45,000 years. It's one of the oldest known sites where Homo sapiens lived in Europe. That's cool. Educational, a time capsule of humanity's early rise. Except, you know what they also found? A skull with cut marks. And not, oops, I fell marks. We're talking precise slices across the forehead and jaw, the kind that suggests someone was defleshing the skull, probably for display, or as a trophy, or just because. And it gets better. Traces of red ochre were found nearby. Again, because apparently the universal language of creepy cave rituals is paint the bones red and call it a ceremony. Oh, and nearby were bear bones, specifically bear skulls placed in nooks and on ledges, as if the people living there were either worshipping bears or challenging them. Either way, you don't stage a cave scene like that unless you're sending a message. Experts still argue whether this was ritual cannibalism, early art, or just the world's most metal living room. But one thing's for sure, it wasn't just people camping in a cave, it was people doing things in a cave, with paint and bones and possibly bear sacrifices. You do you, ancient Bulgaria. Number 1, the skeleton room. Okay, we've reached peak nightmare fuel. Let's talk about Cueva de los Tallos, a sprawling cave system deep in the Ecuadorian jungle. This one's a full conspiracy theory starter pack. Ancient aliens, golden books, secret tunnels, and of course, bones. The cave first gained attention in the 1970s when a Scottish explorer named Stan Hall led an expedition, with the Ecuadorian army no less, to investigate claims of mysterious artifacts and lost civilizations. What they found was weird enough: stone structures that didn't look natural, tunnel-like passages, and a chamber filled with human skeletons, lots of them, stacked, arranged, hidden. And the locals? The Shuar people had already been saying this cave was sacred, even dangerous. They used it as a burial site and claimed spirits lived inside. Some even believed the cave connected to underground cities built by beings who weren't quite human. Yeah, we're in full Indiana Jones meets the History Channel at 3 a.m. territory. But even without aliens, the cave is terrifying. Vertical drops, echoing voids, and passageways that just stop. No explanation, no exit, just rock and the feeling that something is definitely watching you. The remains found there were never fully cataloged, and access to the deeper tunnels has been restricted. Not that you'd want to go in. Not unless you enjoy slipping past ancient graves on your way to find maybe cursed secrets that no one asked you to uncover. Basically, this cave is a full-season Netflix special waiting to happen. And the bones? Oh, they're just the prologue. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.